Hi class, I'm going to talk about finding articles on the databases. So once you decide on your claim, which I have here, so this is from the prompt, no one, not rock stars, not professional athletes, not software billionaires, and not even geniuses ever makes it alone. So that's the claim that I chose for this demo. So it's always good to kind of think of some research questions, things like that. All right, so my first one, I decided to focus on professional athletes. What kinds of opportunity do they get, right? According to Gladwell. And if you remember in the Matthew effect, one of our key words was a relative age. So we can go with that, right? So I might want to focus on this word here when I do my searches in the databases. Okay, so from the Delta College homepage, you can get to the databases. I usually just click on here, the online tools. And once you get to this part, you can scroll down to where it says library, library online databases. There's also some other video tutorials, probably talk about some of the things that I'm going to talk about here. All right, so you can click on the databases, and if you want to search all the databases at once, you can go ahead and do your search engine right here. So I'm just going to focus on relative age and see what happens. Click on search. And I had already signed in, but since you're at home, you'll probably be prompted to log in, and you just log in using the same information that you would when you use your student email. Okay, so the first thing that we probably want to do is to narrow down. Right, we have 4,268,636. That's a lot, right? So let's see. I always want to go to full text, and I'm going to click on peer-reviewed journals. That means that they are reviewed. Somebody does a bunch of research, and others in the same field peer review it. And I also want to focus on journals, academic journals. So we're narrowing it down a little bit. But, the reason why it's so big still is because, this is a pretty broad term, relative age, and I'll show you how we can focus that in a minute. But, so you want to scroll down. I always like to find PDFs, but you don't have to do that. So you just want to keep scrolling and see if you find anything. Oh, this might be something here, right? Youth development experiences among female hockey players, the role of relative age. Or, back up here, we have the influence of the relative age effect in the Czech Youth Ice Hockey League. Let's see. I'm going to click on this one. And let's see, this is login for access. Oh, I'm not a guest. I'm going to log in. What was that at here? Scroll down. View full text. Oh, there we go. I still have to log in. So it explains what you're going to use there. Right, for students, all that information is right there. I keep doing it wrong. There we go. So I'm going to stop right here for a minute, and I'm going to pull up the How to Read an Academic Article. Okay, so I went back and pulled up the How to Read an Academic Article handout that I posted, and hopefully you watched that short video, because in that video I like the analogy they use when you're reading an article, right? When you're trying to get the gist of it, trying to get a main idea, you want to jump around, right? Like you were, and I think they had a picture of a hopscotch thing, right? So you're going to start with the abstract, then you go jump around to the conclusion, and then the discussion. Now, sometimes these things are named differently. Well, I shouldn't say that. Sometimes a conclusion and the discussion are kind of one. So you might not have all of these labeled, but they're all going to be there. So back to the article, you'll notice that it's really laid out, right? We have the abstract. The mechanisms underlying the relative age effect, a biased distribution of birth rates in sports events, have been investigated for more than 2 decades. The present study comprised an historical analysis involving the most recent quarter century on RAE, so we know that's the relative age effect, among Japanese male professional athletes, soccer, baseball, basketball, and volleyball, to clarify how the RAEs were changed over time. All right, so we can jump down to the conclusion. The exacto reasons for the decreasing or unchanging relative age effect among these professional players remain unclear, but socio-cultural factors such as low birth rates and the popularity of sports in Japan might be related in the changing RAEs. So it looks like it could be somewhat kind of inconclusive, but things such as low birth rates and socio-cultural factors might be related to the changing RAEs. So it looks like there is some change here, but they don't know if it's from maybe what Malcolm Gladwell was talking about or some other factors. So this could actually, you'd probably have to read a little bit further, but I'm thinking it might be something to use if you were going to argue against Malcolm Gladwell. Okay? So if you wanted to focus your research and try to narrow it down, you can use these search terms called a Boolean, right? Boolean search terms. We've already talked about what you need to do to establish the research questions, right? I mentioned what advantages, what kinds of opportunities do the professional athletes have. And then we came up with a relative age, okay? So once you have those terms, right, and let's say we wanted to focus on a relative age and outliers, right, or relative age and professional athletes, this is going to narrow it down, okay? If you would put something like, I could probably change it right here. So if we did relative age and football, well, I'm going to make sure that fits here. That means that you are telling the databases that you want the articles to contain both of these terms. If you did the OR, that means it doesn't matter, right? It could have this term or this term, okay? So this is you're probably going to have more results here than you would here. And then if you really want to, let's say, right, you definitely don't want any hockey players, so you might want to put relative age not hockey players. Then you wouldn't get any hits like that. So then back on the databases, right, let's try relative age and hockey players, right? Let's see what we get. Notice we dropped from 2 million or something like that to 4,000. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Revisiting a Gladwell's hockey player's influence of relative age effects upon earning a PhD. Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to click on that, see what happens. Oh, I don't want to log in. Well, you saw it here, so that might be something to go take a look at. Let me try that again. Maybe it wants me to log in again. Okay. But anyway, what if we changed it to relative age or hockey players? This number should go up, right? Let's see. Yeah, back to 2 million. Okay. What if we changed it to relative age, not hockey players? Then it's going to go down. It should. Yeah. Well, oh, it didn't. So I think the smallest one we had was the second one. But you can see, you could tell it. You can basically be pretty specific by using these terms. Okay. All right. Well, I hope this helped.